Last week I caught the first episode of Cyberpunk Edgerunners, put out a video of my disgust, and the ultra-friendly YouTube community was quick to politely inform me that I rushed to judgment. So you know what? I quickly put out a statement that I would watch the rest over the weekend. I gave the show a second shot, and are you going to do the same for my channel? I doubt it, Choom. And you know what? Maybe Cyberpunk Edgerunners doesn't completely suck, but it has problems. Though it has stayed on my mind for days, I feel like this anime limited series comes up a little short, and someone needs to explain why. Don't worry, I'm not one of those hacks who pads videos with filler to game the algorithm. Oh, before you can even skip it, check out my buddies at CALDERALab.com, makers of the Icon, the latest in skincare for men. Use my promo code FRY15 to save 15% at checkout. Maybe I didn't best articulate my points regarding the first episode, but it's by far the worst, putting the show in a weird situation from the start. In the first episode of Cyberpunk Edgerunners, we're introduced to our protagonist, David Martinez, teenage son of a single mom who works as an EMT to put him through a corpo academy. Mom is zeroed during a hit between gonks, leaving David alone and evidently unmotivated to seek revenge. And maybe I could have done a better job communicating this, but David just floating around without any purpose, especially when gifted motivation from his mom's death, really pissed me off, and thus I checked out. But alas, the helpful community of YouTube commenters. Episode 2 picks up with David taking a military-grade implant his mom was hiding to a Ripper doc and having it installed while awake without anesthesia. David also strictly sports mom's high-vis jacket going forward and is now ready for revenge on a kid from school that punched him. Jesus Christ, do you not want to do something about the goons who killed your mom? Now kicked out of school, as I predicted, David meets a hot chick who knows everything. Lucy is an edge runner, which I guess just means merc who pulls jobs for fixers, not unlike your role as V in Cyberpunk 2077. But at the same time, it's weird how characters say cyberpunk like it's an occupation. You don't see a sheriff refer to an outlaw as a western. David's implant gives him super speed that impresses Lucy, and thus their romance starts up. I had commented that the music sucks, and though the moon sequence song, I Really Want to Stay at Your House, is one of the better examples, after a minute it devolves into dubstep nonsense. But it's not all smooth sailing for David, far from it. He's jumped by Lucy's crew who want his tech, but is able to earn their trust. I suppose if you hadn't played the game, this brings the viewer into the underworld of Night City, but if you have played the game, you're going to recognize the shrewd use of familiar locations and even some familiar faces. And then the cyber psycho problem comes into play. One of the crew is killed by some junkie, and David is warned that abusing cyberware leads down this path. And this, folks, is the biggest problem with Cyberpunk Edgerunners. With only 10 episodes of roughly 25 minutes apiece, this fateful tale ramps towards a tearful conclusion, but doesn't quite earn the payoff. The character die-offs come so quick, the audience doesn't build a relationship with them, let alone learn their names. I'm quick to point out when a series is padding the story with empty episodes, but you can't get people to care about deaths when they're not invested in the characters. Cyberpunk Edgerunners could have easily accommodated twice the episodes, giving us a robust look at various jobs and actually meet the multiple fixers, and give the crew opportunities to show their different sides of character. But no, it's thick Harley Quinn gun nut Becca and her gropey brother, whose name I didn't pick up. Kiwi sticks around long enough for us to see that she has a spider web tattoo radiating from her tarantula-shaved pubic hair, which I cannot show you. This show moves so fast, I swear episode 7 feels like a season premiere, with the characters having covered a lot of ground between it and the preceding episode 6. Now David is the boss, swole on tech, and with a posh apartment, which he shares with Lucy, who is no longer taking part in his jobs. You'd be forgiven if you thought Netflix accidentally skipped an episode when loading at the credits. Giancarlo Esposito shows up as himself, as he does in every streaming series. If you need an obvious villain who will work cheap, Esposito is your guy. Has he set up a dojo in the valley yet? Esposito works competing corporations against each other and gets Netrunner Kiwi to betray David. With cyberpsychosis setting in, it's time for David to go out in a blaze of glory to save Lucy and pay for his mistakes. I was kinda touched by the finale. We'd get more out of David's downfall if we saw him as a good student rather than just being told he's a good student while acting like an edgelord. Then his gradual transition into underworld boss and drug-addled psycho would feel all the more tragic. He had it coming though, but seeing Lucy finally make her trip to the moon alone kinda got to me. But maybe that was just her sexy grunting. I'm not wild about Studio Trigger's production. Sometimes I couldn't tell what the hell I was looking at. Character proportions are all over the place. Late in the show, there are some confusing flashbacks that play like real-time voiceover. Look, I'll admit I have no idea what I'm doing, but my animation on this channel is smoother. Christ, some of you weebs are acting like this budget series is Akira. I actually think this anime has a stronger story than the game it's based on, even if it's amazingly coincidental how everyone is after David's chrome. Come on, it's actually starting with David watching a BD of someone using the implant while his mom has it on her, and the babe he's lusting over happens to work with the guy who paid his mom to swipe it. Would have been nice to spend a game's length with these characters instead of Johnny Silverhand's bloviating over capitalism ruining his rock band or whatever, but maybe I'm too traumatized by the broken Xbox One release I streamed to completion over Twitch. Hearing everyone in Night City share the same ringtone of impending glitched out side quests has flashbacks of Nam's side effects on me. Updates and optimization have made Cyberpunk 2077 a playable game on next-gen consoles, and thanks to an anime series, it appears the formula for renewing interest has been found. Over on PC, Steam charts have it as the #1 single-player game. That's a lot of people wanting revenge on Atom Smasher. It seems that lately, anime has been cracking my cold facade. I was moved to tears by Your Name, and I'm getting a little teared up over the potential Cyberpunk Edgerunners could have achieved had a creative super genius such as myself worked on it.
If you appreciate a YouTube channel that doesn't just pad out content to get to the 8-minute mark so that it can hammer you with ad breaks, then you should subscribe to my son's channel. You just got done watching it.